Sorry. The moderator, time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Go.
You may open your video.
Yeah, I will. I will. Actually, my camera doesn't support really well, but the most important one, my voice is clear enough, right? Wait, wait.
Yeah, think so. That's cool. Wow. You look pretty tonight.
Uh, wait. Let me share the PPT first. Thank you. Is it? Wait a minute. Okay. Well, before getting to the discussion section, I would like to introduce myself. My name's Azrida, but you can call me Azzy, and I'm a student of in Jambi from Jambi. Well, here tonight we would like to discuss about indigenous people called the discussion sections called breaking the silence, indigenous challenges in a modern world. Here I put the words the silence is for a reason because indigenous people indigenous people, we talk about what is indigenous people later, but first is I would like to highlight the silence. Here the silence words means that indigenous people doesn't even know that they are facing a challenges. So so I think the silence is from our perspective, not from their perspective, because they think they aware that they are facing a hard time, but they don't highlight it as a big problem for them. Well, breaking the silence, indigenous challenges in a modern world. What is indigenous people? Indigenous refers, as on the screen, to the people who originally lived of a specific region of area. They are often have a unique culture, social, or historical identity. So what makes them different to us or to other people is they are kind of unique tribe or unique communities. These indigenous people, oh, if you think indigenous is same with native, it's different because native, we can say we are native, but they're not. They are native, but we are not indigenous. Wait. Let me make it clear. Indigenous is a native, but native is not indigenous. Something like that. Um, indigenous people spread around Indonesia or even around the world. But here I would like to bring a specific communities, which is from Jambi, because I basically from Jambi. Oh, that's called suku anak dalam or um, orang rimba. Maybe it's kind of familiar for you. The familiar one, but it has a negative perspective, which kubu. Maybe you know that words. It's kind of familiar, I guess. So most of people know that suku anak dalam is orang rimba or kubu. So what are them? They are the word suku anak dalam or orang rimba or kubu is a term to use identify an ethnic community from Jambi and Sumatra Island, but most of them is already spread to South Sumatra. So they're not only in Jambi, they also in South Sumatra. But I know tonight we talk about the community from Jambi, but I will make it relatable to other people, because some of you guys doesn't familiar, you're not familiar with this kind of communities, I guess. You're not live, I mean, like, you're not live with them, or you haven't met them at all. Well, why I think, why I mentioned their challenges, because they are the native, the indigenous people who live in Jambi, but they have a really bad problem. Here, let me explain. The characteristic of them depends on nature. This one is commonly for all of indigenous people, but for us, yeah, for everyone actually, it's not only the indigenous people. The depends on nature, because we depends on nature, right? But the second and the third one is from their perspective, depends on nature. Indigenous people is deeply connected to nature because their daily routines or spiritual, cultural depends on nature. So their belief, sorry, because their belief is what what did it say? Animism, got it? Animism, yeah, something like that. So they believe in, they believe is animism. Hunter gathered people is a term that refers to a group of people or traditional societies that depend on hunting, gathering, or harvesting natural resources that are available in their surrounding to provide for their needs. So these people, for them it's normal, but for us, we don't do that kind of things, because like we do work or going to office or some other works, something like that. They, their life is really depends on the natural environment. The last one is nomadic. Wait. Nomadic is a lifestyle. It is kind of unfamiliar for most of people. Nomadic is a lifestyle which people or communities. So here we talk about the indigenous people in Jambi, which is we call Suku Anak Dalam. They are frequently moved from one place to the other. So they not live in a specific area. No, they live in specific area, but they not stuck in one. Let's say they don't have any houses, so they build every move. Yeah, they build a house, like temporary house, to stay like for 2 weeks or even a week, and then they move to another areas and make another house to find another resources of nature. Or they move is not because uh, they find another resources of nature. They move because one of their family's member is died. So that is their culture. So what is their main challenges? So I categorize it into 4 areas here. It's actually 4 areas: educations, socials, economic, and traditional land right. It's actually quite wide, because they have a lot of challenges. But here I categorize it into 4 areas: education, social, economic, and traditional land rights. We go to educations. Here I would like to ask your opinion about this statement. Their problem of education have 2 sides, which is from internal or external. Let's see here. We have one, first statement: indigenous parents assumes that formal education will not have a direct impact on their survival. And the second one, oh no, let's talk about the first statement first. Anyone want to give their opinion to about this statement? Wait, maybe we have here Mr. Haras or Mr. Rizky. Oh,
Yeah,
brother Haras, sorry.
I think I want to give an opinion. May I?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone, my name is Rizky Nopriama. So I'm the alumni of Indonesia Mengajar, pengajar muda as well. I have been replacement in Indigenous living for 1 year replacement in West Papua. So as education facilitator or pengajar muda, of course, my job is to make sure to intervene the teacher in order to go to school and intervene the parent of student, where the parent prefer to get to hunt a food in the jungle or in the sea rather than asking their children to go to school. So my job is that to make sure and to intervene these parent how the importance of the education for their children, because I living in the isolation island where the condition is they don't know about money anyway. They don't know about money. They just like if they wanna eat something, they will looking in the jungle or in the sea, something like that. So I'm the first Muslim and the first person outside of their island that coming in that islands. So I think the problem is that it's not easy actually to change bit that behavioral thinking, because it is consistently have to be their behavior, right? So what I'm doing is to do it step by step. Like I take like the first 6 months is not easy. They still not really care about education, but when we consistently ask them to go to school, and I'm standby in the school, someday children go to school because it is fun. And then when outside of people come to the village, and there is a head of the I mean like a head of the villager thinking more about education, when he said he think that, oh, Pak Guru, I think our students should also see outside of our island. I mean like they should know more about the outside of from their island, to know more and to bring more thing in their island, like education or like experience or many other people. And when they understand the importance of experience outside of their island, they will actually thinking that's important. Maybe it's not easy actually if talking about the format to change the way how they think about education, but I think it should be they should have an exchange of cultural exchange, right? So that's why when I'm come back there, when I was there, I'm exchange my experience from the modern life to their living. So when we change the information, like only us living there, I think it is but exchange information where it could be maybe like some factor that maybe help the parent thinking about the importance of education. So I think yeah, I'm agree with that actually with this the first and second statement. And also maybe I could also say about heart of accessibility, because usually people in the remote area, indigenous people do not have any access to go to school, like maybe like they are in the jungle, and then the school is too far, there is no teacher. Actually that is also a problem that might be faced by the challenge that we might face by students. So I think I actually I'll give some more ideal about that, actually about the lack of accessibility and also lack of a teacher that want to teach in the indigenous people. So I also like film Anak Dalam, Suku Anak Dalam Jambi. So it is the story about a teacher that teach in that Suku Dalam. So after watch that, actually I'm being an actor in West Papua as well, because inspired by that story. And actually that's why it's really relate to talk about today. But I think we hope that this accessibility could be reached people in remote area, or even indigenous people. Maybe that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rizky Nopriyama. It's such a great perspective. Yeah, as you already experienced how to interact with them yeah, it's kind of hard time to believe their parents to make their children being educated in the school, right? And I mentioned that kind of movie, I think that's Butet Manurung is also the volunteer. Gratefully, nowadays there's a lot of volunteers that already aware about this community. Well, any other people who would like to give their, Mr. Reddy here, please?
Okay. Okay. Do you hear my voice
Yeah, it's
clearly?
audible.
Because I'm on my way to work. Okay. For me personally, education is not a big problem to them because I would like to give you some example from Baduy Dalam, as you know. No matter how hard you try, they always ignore the people who are trying to record how they live because they have been isolated from years, from 100 years. So maybe for me, it's not a big problem for education because they learn from the nature, they learn from the parents, and then I believe that they living happily happy. A simple answer from me. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Because education is a basic solution for every problem, I guess, because it's connected to other problem. It's kind of like economic or that we will talk later. Oh, Miss Ekalita, sorry,
Yeah,
please here.
I can see the main problem of the indigenous people.
Yep.
Maybe mostly because they still in animism, because our ancient also from animism, right? And long before today, we also like them, right? And I think maybe they have to recognize to the more progressive religion, in my opinion, maybe like Islam or Christian, so they can more be develop their brain, something like that, logic thinking. And then the secondly, I think the indigenous people is very have a huge interest to the forest, right? The nature and the environment. So I think maybe they can educate themselves to the apa the subject of their interest most. And as long as the government is protect them, it's not a big deal because uh, they like simply life, right? But if the government didn't protect them, yeah, of course it will be like threaten them because they don't have like um, suitable access education. Like I said, that if they are so much interest to the forest, so you can give them um I facilitate them to love the forest and make a living from the forest without have to ruin ruin the forest, right? And because they didn't interest to the money,
Yeah,
it's like yeah, it's also make life more easier, right? Because they can live in the simply life and peace as well. So maybe they don't need like electricity like us or petrol, right? But for their children who is very interested to the modern education, maybe they can be vendor, vendor. So they have to go out from their society. Is like a Minangkabau people. When they want to have a higher education or modern education, they have to leave um their society so they can have a more education and more better life because they have a different level from their society. Because if they didn't move from, I mean, they didn't become the wonder, like you said, they will be bullied by their society, and they also cannot develop their potential because it didn't support with their support system, something like that. Of course, the government has to facilitate the smart children from the indigenous parents. So what I want to say is the just facilitate them through their needs, not others' needs or wants, right? Do you understand? Okay.
Yeah.
If they want to be anism and they didn't want to pick the religion, it's the choice. We have to respect them. But for their but to recognize them to the other religion that can make them more developed, it's also like giving them a chance without have to push them. Um, and then, like I said, if they like the nature a lot, then it's their choices. The government just only have to facilitate them and make them comfort to their own society. So it's like we all respect um what is their kecintaan tuh apa sih, the liking of the nature, something like the simple life. We all respect them. We don't have to change them to be another like others life that they didn't like they didn't like city. It's okay, they money, it's okay, as long as the government didn't bother or um, don't make them to move from their society or to erase their life. It's no a big deal, right? But it will be a big deal when the government want to like arrest them or push them to another circumstances that can make them like uncomfort. Yeah, it in my opinion it's like that. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita. It's become more interesting here because everyone's used their critical thinking. Thank you, everyone. Well, there is no in discussion. There is no true or false opinion. So here we just accept all everyone's opinions, and we talk how we respond to them. Oh, there is Miss Honey, please.
Hello, Miss.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Azi. I guess that we are neighbors because I'm living in South Sumatra, Palembang, and you are living in Jambi around 6 hours or 7 hours, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Okay, if I don't get a traffic jam, yeah. And thank you very much for giving me time to give my perspective here about Jambi.
yeah.
And I know I know more about Jambi, especially about jungle people or suku anak dalam here. And I know the situation from my parents too, how they survive, how they stay, yeah, in a difficult situation, yeah. But I really I really hope that all people in Jambi, like indigenous people there, can continue their school, yeah. But here, especially about education, I guess that why indigenous parents, they don't care about the education, especially for suku anak dalam there, because if we I mean that if we are as a teacher who really hope that they get a good education, especially for them, yeah, we are as a teacher and we are as a school there, we have to make a good collaboration or a good team there. Yeah, we can. There are some ways that we have to do. The first thing that we have to do, we need to socialize about how yeah, education situation there, because it's not easy for them to what is that what is it, to socialize with people there and also with their their friends at school, because it's really different, the situation, as we know that they live in, mostly they stay or longer in a jungle. Yeah, it's not really easy, yeah, to change their habit, yeah, their habit. So we can make a kinds of school like a nature school for them, yeah, where the situation is totally different, where we study in at school, yeah, where they have to stay in a room, yeah, in a class with their classmates. So we can make a socialized for how they really need this school to, what is that, to continue their life, yeah, to make their life, yeah, survive, to face the world, and yeah, socialize first. And we have to give explanation, a good explanation to them, especially we can make like an individual approach between teachers, parents, and their kids, yeah, their kids or their children. And the second, I guess that there are some factors too, yeah, especially about the language, because as we know that the language or their accent is different. Yeah. When we speak in Bahasa Indonesia, I guess that it's a bit difficult for them because totally different. Yeah, maybe they don't understand. So there are some factors. It's really hard for the teachers there to survive in that condition, but it's okay. Yeah, I guess that as I know from the news, they are modern enough, because there are some people, they continue their study, yeah, until university student. I guess that, if I'm not mistaken, is what is that, the army or the soldiers who, what is that, who, what is it, who teach, yeah, who teach in that area and try to socialize how important the education for the people there. And also bullied, yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, because normal life, yeah, normal life, if we live in a normal life and we meet people with different, where, you know, when we wear we complete clothes, and when we see the people, it's a half naked, yeah, also some children, they think that it's a bit shock for them, because they are familiar with that style, yeah. So we have to make sure, we have to give an explanation first. If you want to go to school, especially about your clothes, you have to be dressed like this, yeah, many things, yeah, as a teacher and as parents too. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much, Miss.
Thank you, sir, for your opinion and your perspective about these indigenous people. Well, as everyone have already heard from all the participants that already give their opinion, these indigenous people, they don't know how important education is, but there are a term that we can call, that they called people like us, as orang terang. Orang terang is a people, is not part of them, but they are orang dalam. So we are orang terang, they are orang dalam. That there is also two kinds of this community. The one who can be reached and the one who cannot be reached. The one who cannot be reached, the volunteer cannot reach them because they're quite cruel. I don't know how to say. They didn't accept people from orang terang or not from their community. And the community who can be reached by the volunteer is the community who becomes a better life. I hope so, because they have already being educated by some teachers or even some students who become volunteers. But here, the fact is, I can mention some two, I guess. There's a lot of volunteers, but I can mention two of them is Sobat Eksplorasi Anak Dalam is one of the volunteers that kind of famous in Jambi who take care of this community. Like they have monthly agenda to visit the community. And then the second one is Pundi Sumatra. And Pundi Sumatra is already have a children who they take out from the community, not really take from their family, but they take the children out of the community to be schooled, to be educated in a formal school. And gratefully, one of the children, no, I think I cannot say it's a children anymore, because one of them is already on her education now, because she is a student of university in Universitas Muhammadiyah Jambi. So one of them is, and she becomes a Muslim. But this girl doesn't leave their families. They still go back to their families when it's holiday times. Yeah, it's a grateful news for me and for us, I guess. I think it's relatable to other indigenous people in another island, will make an improvement for the indigenous people. And also the government role is also being the crucial things here. Well, we would like to move another problem, another issues. Wait. Social issues. Wait, I forgot to delete the paper. Indigenous, especially suku anak dalam, is often confronted with native stereotype, native like other people, like out of their community, portray them as a primitive. We, mostly people, especially in Jambi, like I already saw the people who see this community, this indigenous people, as a primitive or uneducated, even immoral people, which is uncivilized. But these people, the fact is they have a rich knowledge of nature. This is, we sometimes forget this fact that they have a rich knowledge of nature. They also have a unique culture, like as I said before, they move when they when their family, one of their family died, to support their feeling better. Or the way they live is also eco-friendly lifestyle that we are trying to do now, right? Yeah, I think it's so I'm so excited about talk about this. Everyone wants to give their opinion about this statement. Yeah, there are in the social, what is that slide, in the social slide we can see our people perspective of this community as primitive and uneducated. Maybe anyone wants to give their opinion. Here we have Mr. Demus, maybe want to, or Mr. Didi. Now, please, you guys, maybe you have another perspective of them. Oh, Mr. Didi, please.
Okay. Sorry, my voice is clear.
Yeah, it's clear. It's
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. My opinion about these issues. Yes, we know that our people about the negative stereotypes from the indigenous people. I think not agree because the indigenous people they have a rich knowledge of nature, and I think it's the star of knowledge about sustainability
Mhm.
because we know the time sustainability is very important like that's social maybe education ecological. I think indigenous people is very clever and start from beginner sustainability and we apply to the life now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Didi. Yeah, as Mr. Didi said, that the way they live is the way they live is the way we live. We want our life like it. I saw someone who raised his hand. Oh, Mr. Rizky, I please you. Yeah, after Mr. Demus.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I want to add a point of view from the government or outside of suku anak dalam, because I think this point of view is about how in the side for us to suku anak dalam or indigenous people, but in the other side, if we watch also the film like suku anak dalam film, it is shows how the government actually trying to take some place of living for these indigenous people in the hard to believe with the modern people or even the government that might coming in that place. Somehow it can harm them. Is it like harm them with a gun, or harm them with like with many like file door and some several transportation that might be something that rarely meet by the indigenous people. And actually they maybe feel like uncomfortable when they found something like that, because what have you told before, like they are really rich of knowledge of nature, unique culture, and also really close to the nature. So when there are some component like a government or a people outside of their jungle come to them to that place, and also like cut some tree and so on, and actually maybe in their side they feel uncomfortable. So that's why it is hard. There is a barrier between both of them, and that gap should be taken by the indigenous people to take their belief to the people that come, and also people that come should also feel comfortable and to convince the indigenous people. Maybe there is other point of view.
Yes, I do agree with your opinion. They all, as a fact, these people also is not supposed to be isolated by us, but by another people, like out of their community. All right, Miss Eka Lita, I please you.
I think indigenous people have to be like didampingi itu apa sih, like
Oh, like pendampingan. Anyone wants to give room for
Company,
study?
a
ta-
company.
taking care
Oh,
by
sure. It's okay.
anthropologists,
Mhm.
because they have like lack of communication, right, with the government and the society outside them. And because of that, sometimes there is a like disputes or conflict between among them with us in that outside of them, because we cannot understand their cycle, right? So I think maybe they have to be didampingi apa sih, yeah, to have to be taking care with anthropologists, so government now how to facilitate them and how to communicate with them, and they also can deliver their needs to the government and the society. It's like, because I think the conflict is because they don't know how to deliver their needs to others, something like that. Because in the society, I think there is a lot of people right have a different needs, and the government just have to facilitate them as suitable with their needs. Maybe like if they didn't want to go outside, they like to their simple life, so the government have to respect that, right? And if there is their children that's smart and need the higher education, then government have to give them like a full scholarship and helping them to like a wonder that I like that I said, because the children want to the high level of education and living, right? But if the children didn't want to go to the higher level, so the government don't have to push them, but facilitate them to the natural education, so they don't go, they don't get, they don't need to go to the public school because they may be not comfort with that, but they can still learning in their jungle, and they can still have make a living in the jungle, and maybe they can add their knowledge of the jungle, the nature, if they love the nature so much. So it's, I don't see the matters there, because they don't have to like feel like a lack of money is like a labor. It's not like that, right? It's not like entrepreneur also as well that need to the exploited things around them. They are a simple people with simple life. So yeah, I think we have to respect them, and they have to taking care for the anthropologists to make them easier
Miss
to
Echo,
communicate with outer their
I
society.
cannot hear your voice.
What? My voice is didn't clear. Yeah, I said that maybe they have to taken care by anthropologists, so the anthropologists can helping them to communicate with outer them, so it can minimize the conflict, because the conflict is like misunderstood, right? They feel that they didn't facilitate with the government, and they feel threatened also as well with the outer society of them. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Actually, it doesn't. We should not talk about blaming. Yeah, we should talk about blaming each other.
Sorry, everyone.
Uh, yeah, sure.
Is Miss Ekalita done?
Yeah, done.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita. I heard your opinion, but I didn't hear until the end. But from your perspective, they don't have to if they don't want to go to school like formal school, they can uh they can they can be educated in like forest school or natural school, like something
yeah,
and
yeah, that's true, man.
yes, they are being educated in most some of volunteer educated in their areas, so then they don't need to leave their community. Well, Miss, I saw Mr. Demus raise his hand. Is or to give your opinion, or we can continue to another issues.
Because I'm forced. It's just because it's the school forcing me to do so. But let me give you some opinions of mine. Uh, um,
Thank you.
I believe that the negative stereotypes often directed to the indigenous people or Suka Nagdalam is very unfounded and also unjust and irrelevant for me, because I believe that they fail to recognize the depth and the richness of the culture of the indigenous people, and also how different knowledge they probably that we can actually learn from. but who we are to just know, because this whole adjective that we have here that people always like label them like primitive, uneducated, immoral, and uncivilized, are really based on how our people actually live. We come to the conclusion that they are labeled by these adjectives are because we live how we are right now, so that we give them the way how their lives are, right? Because we live this way. So the people who live differently like ours are being labeled by these certain adjectives. I don't want to blame people who basically confronted with this negative stereotype, but for me, they're still failing to recognize the depth and the richness of their culture and the knowledge of the indigenous people. Because for me personally, I believe that the indigenous people have profound connection to the environment, like everyone says, like possessing a very extensive understanding of the natural world that many modern societies like us, oh, modern, could learn from. For example, like their knowledge of the medical plants, like like and sustainable living.
Yeah.
I think like the way people, like my parents always told me how orang dulu, by means like the ancient people, like those people who are basically living in the rural area, always have the way how they treat us when we are sick. This is a very simple knowledge, basic, and we can actually learn from. So when people told them that they are uneducated, I think they just don't know how many modern societies these days are basically learning from their knowledges.
Yep.
The way the medical terms and also the way our survival skills to live by is basically coming as well or referenced by the way how those indigenous people live long time ago, and then it's passed by the hands-on experiences and also by the oral learning methods that we can learn from, like how they use the natural shampoo that everyone doesn't know how important using these certain planes to basically strengthen your hair. But these days we're using too much of the technological advancement products that are basically harming our own life. So labeling them with this certain stereotypes, meaning that we are basically the one who are retarded because we don't know exactly how their knowledge is basically very important to our lives as well. So I think that, yeah, that's my opinion. I think they're just failing to recognize, and because they live differently than the indigenous people. Yeah. Basically, I'm talking here not by the reference of watching Suka Anak Dalam movie, so I have no idea about the movie itself. So my opinion really based on my own life because I was living in rural areas and with Mr. Ku and Mr. February because we're no, three of us are actually indigenous people coming from a very rural area in East Borneo. We are one
Okay.
of the Bekantans there. Thank you so much, Mr.
No, thank you, Mr. Demus. Yeah. So just because the indigenous people have different way to live, does it mean we have perspective that we can give them negative stereotypes, right? Well, we move to another issues that is economic. As it says, their lives are very depends on forest product and the surrounding environment. The issues is industrial expansion and exploitation of the forest becomes the problem of natural resources. That is a basic things that they are looking for. That is also the things that make their economic grow. I mean, like stay. Yeah. Anyone wants to give their opinion about economic issues of this indigenous people? So I got blank. Here we have, I think the best way to get, because everyone's here have their critical thinking, but it's kind of hard for them to raise their hand. So I can mention maybe Miss Umidian here, and also Mr. Ibnu Alfa Kaisar, maybe, and Mr. Fabri. Anyone want to give? Oh, Miss Ekalita, please. The place here.
I think from your statement is the problem is not in them, but is in industrial expansion, the greedy of the humankind. I think, yeah, the simple people is have no innocence. They like the nature. They like the simple life. They didn't like money. They didn't like modern life, and it's okay because if your life is simple, then you more simplicity in all aspect of your life, right? But I think that we have to membatasi to limited is not them but the industrial expansion, yeah, because the industrial expansion, as we know, that they didn't respect the nature, right? They didn't respect the environment, they didn't respect the humankind, they didn't respect anything. So if they want to be a modern people, it's their right, but they have to respect the differences and the simplicity in their around of their society, yeah, something like that.
Yes, thank you, Miss Ekalita. So this is Miss Ekalita, as Miss Ekalita said, this not from their internal issues because it's come from external people who
I think industrial expansion, if the government don't have boundaries or a logical limitation, they will be ruin all aspect. It's not only the what I forgot the origin people. What you call
indigenous people, yeah.
Yeah, it's not only them, but all of us in the
Oh
city.
yeah, okay, in the natives, all
Yeah,
of
we
people.
also have being threatened with the industrial expansion because they don't have any limited right. They so are greedy and they don't care about the aspect of the humankind. So the government have to be strict of them. It's not like apa menghalangi apa sih menghambat. It's not menghambat apa bahasa Inggrisnya. It's not make them, yeah, so they have to in the proportional portion, something like that. They have to develop their empathy, yeah, to their environment, yeah. So don't only money in your head, because if you just only think about the money, you will be make many problems because not everyone is interested in money. Yeah, we need the money, but not as much as yours. So I think you have to be respect others and facilitate others with their needs, and you also have to like have interest to the humankind as well, yeah, something like that. So like in with your labor, you have to love them. They're working for you so hard, and you only think about the money. It's not fair. And you don't have any wealth if you don't have any labor, right? Something like that. So you have to taking care of your labor as well. Then you don't make a shame like the government have to push you, and people have to demonstrate. You have to make a arrangement and management in your business and being a human. So yeah, being a human, don't being another creature that very mean to others, yeah.
Yep, thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss Ekalita. So the impact of industrial activities or exploitation is not only faced by indigenous people but also for us. But yeah, that's true. But we can survive. But we still can survive by to another jobs or something. The indigenous people really depends on the nature itself. Mr. Haras. Oh, Brother Haras. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep, of course.
Okay. So
indigenous people are vulnerable for exploitation. For example, maybe their land, some greedy corporation took their land or cut their trees down. So that's why they are protected by the law of human rights. That's all from me. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Harris. That's a good assessment because the way they treat nature the way people treat nature will impact their self. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Who? I believe. Oh, Miss yeah, Mr. Who first? Maybe we continue to Miss Eklita.
Okay. Thanks for the chance given. Talking about economic, the previous speaker talked about the industry. We will blame the industry and so forth. What I have done to learn in institutions, or we can call it school or campus or university. But you know that I get involved with the project in industry right now. That's why I'm in this. I am in this office right now. Okay, you know that we think about national interest wants to encourage the societies indigenous a low economy will get impacted directly from what the governments provide to be their project or to be their project. What I mean is, let me mention the name. Prakriti provides a lot of uh, project or programs in order to encourage low economy family. Why? Because it has no correlation. I'm very sorry. It has no correlation between the intersections between talent and power. If you are good at or we are talented, but we have no power, it's nonsense. They would rather choose power.
Okay.
They will hire the talent. Why? It must balance between talent and power. If we are good at doing everything, but we have no power, what should we do? It's nonsense because we have no power. And the intersections between talent and power, we must sorry, the government and industry must work together in order to provide or give an access, whether it is information, of course, access for improving the capability to how to say advance their skills to work nowadays. Because of that, even the people are trying to pursue higher and higher whether to achieve a good career or to get an access. It has no collaboration between talent and power. Nothing will change. That's what I feel it. If we only pursue the good academic level, it's okay. But try to consider balance with how the industry works. And we can balance if we only, I'm so sorry, if we are only good at academic, but we have no power, whether it is to organizations or in some institutions, some stakeholders, I think we only reach in the brain, but we cannot not commercialize the third brain. It seems like
What
we talk, we negotiate, yeah, we negotiate with some
Yeah.
stakeholders to get funding. They have some stakeholders, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of budgets. We are good at ideas, or we are super good at ideas. Try to discuss, to negotiate, to ask funding. We can amplify our ideas and perspective to be a project. It will get impacted to the low economy family. That's what I want to talk. That's what
Yeah.
I talk because in the previous discussion last week, I talked that for low economy family, to get an information is privilege. Whether you agree or disagree, you may search on social media. If you get informations and you directly know who is the stakeholder, of course not. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hu. You try to explain how power and everything that we talented in is have to balance each other, right? Because the power will makes everything works, I guess. Is how to say it in Krull way. Well, Miss Ekalita,
Yeah, I don't agree about the power things because the power without wisdom and fairness and without a humankind, it's useless. But as we saw right now, the government have a power, right? But they don't have any empathy or can facilitate their society. So what is the power for if you cannot use that for the humankind need or interest? What I want to say that the social empathy is more important than the power because the power cannot reach your heart. The power cannot reach your sense. The power cannot reach your humankind. You have to give it by yourself. It's like I want to give you an example. It's like the retail with the Madura store, right? It's you have you don't have to compete with them. You know how hard they find the money to make a living for their family. So why you have to compete? You just have to share and live by side so everyone can make a living without mengganggu disturbance any party. And so um, and you can help the government as well to facilitate their needs. So don't have to be always compete, something like that. So your social empathy is more demanding to the society because we know that nowadays that people is like, I know the money is important for us, right? But the more important is your quality of characters, right? And the power is didn't mean that if you have a power then you be a kind man. It's not like that. It's many proof that when you get the power then you be mean and you use the power to dismiss others. You use the power to make weakness others need. It's you can see how the power can ruin the lives and your heart as well and your humankind. Is you have to war with yourself, with your heart, something like that. You know that it's wrong, but the power is like winning you with your ego. So I didn't revere the power because power without wisdom and empathy of social is useless. Yeah, because you know absolute power in all this, right? And how is the people feels at that time? Is there feel blessed with the power? They want to like confront, but it didn't happening in the simply or in the organized society. Maybe the power is not like very strong, but the humankind and social empathy is very dominate, and you can solve many problems because you care about others. Yeah.
thank you. We don't need a power to be
Oh,
persons.
sometimes power is the problem because you feel you are superpower, then you can do anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, many people hate that because you cannot be strict with wrong people. You cannot be strict with manipulation people. You cannot be strict with the toxic people. And it's like a punishment for you. The power is punishment, not a gift or blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't need a we being kind doesn't need a power. It just from the deepest of our heart, I guess.
Yeah, your heart is your power, because if your heart is so soft and can understand others like needs or misery, something like that, their limitation, then you can solve the problem. But when you only care about power and you didn't need others' need, then you will be like absolute, something like that. And then you didn't realize that you give like some problems to others and you only care about money in your head. Power is money, I think.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita. Well, Mr. Rizky, I please you.
Yeah, thank you, Saji. Actually, I heard a lot of interesting idea and argument from my friend, Mr. Ku, Miss Ekalita, and others. But actually, maybe like yep, the government and stakeholders should having value added as social empathy, inclusivity skills, where they show empathy to the social. Like social empathy skills is one of the core skills that might be should be value added for the stakeholder. So wherever we are, actually, I believe that all of us will take a part to be a stakeholder. Is it like in the company, institution, or government, wherever we are? Actually, the most important is when we want to creating a policy or something, we should always reflect to the empathy with the condition that we want to creating the policy. For example, in Jambi, if we want to creating a policy regarding indigenous, we cannot just only determine by data, but we should see what actually they are doing there and
Yep.
how actually this policy could be implemented in their indigenous life. Because I think what I love by indigenous people living is how they are not greedy. Like they live with the natural living, but they are not taking too much. So that this value I think is important in the modern life, and also they have some prohibiting like when they want to cut some tree, there is a prohibition that they say, oh, or God or even someone or leluhur said that we should not do this, so they protect the environment when they pretend their own values. So somehow in the modern living we are tend to not care many things, like we do not care, we do not really afraid of anything. It is different with people with indigenous or a long time ago where people have a lot of thing that they are afraid of, like they are afraid if they cut a lot of tree, then there was someone or there is an angel, there is a god that will be angry and so on. But nowadays in modern life, that every lot of place already being explored, and as the industrialization start to expand the market, the development. So actually if we also learn from that value, where we also should respect the mother of nature, should respect our world. Actually I think it is could be a new values that to protecting the environment and also the world. So actually power is good actually. I think power is good, but it depends on who use it. It's like a knife. A knife can be danger if someone that is not good taking it, but somehow it will be useful when someone that is having a good social skill and also have a good talent using it. So the most important is who doing it. So the most important is in the actor. Hopefully this discussion will be our next like we can know each other, and also the collaboration each other from us as the future leaders is very important in the future. Maybe that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rizky. It's a good compliment at the end. It's a good conclusion. Power, is it a bad way or a right way? Mr. Ibnulas Alpha, I hope you be the the last
Okay,
speaker
thank
for
you so much. Can
economic
you hear my
issues.
voice?
Yeah, I heard
Okay.
you.
So this is my very first time to join this agenda. Thank you so much. If I can give my opinion as a citizen, maybe it's only always see my perception or maybe some of citizen perception. If I can say as an economy that you guys talking about government, something about money is power. Yeah, maybe if government have power, but rich people have money. So rich people who are greedy, so that's why the government have no choice, or they will go out from the parliament if they complain or criticize and fight back to the investor. So I don't know what's going on in Jambi or something, but if I can say, yeah, you can, you don't, you know, right? If we see the government always need, like, uh, they know, but they don't want to see. Um, so yeah, maybe if we can fight together to say to government, please keep the art. Maybe it's a how do you say this one? Insidious. Sorry.
Indigenous people.
This topic, yeah. So we can say to government, please keep our earth, uh, especially indigenous, to save our life because they always save the nature because this perception their lives are very dependent on forest product and the surrounding environment. So if they can keep the nature, so we also human needs to keep, and government should hear us, not always see and they know, but they don't care about what happened in this world in Indonesia. Yeah, but for the first time I hear you guys is Miss Azi. I don't really get the point, but in the middle to this session, I really interested. Okay, and so thank you so much, Mr. Hu, to invite us always every single Sunday. He always give on the group, but I join this session for the first time. Thank you so much. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ibnu. Thank you for your great opinion, great perspective. Well, we move to another issues because there are some issues that we need to be discussed. Well, we move to traditional land right. As you can see on the screen, traditional land is an issue that normally happens in suku anak dalam, and I mean, like I didn't experience to the people like in their areas, but I meet their people. I mean, the people from indigenous people like suku anak dalam who come to Jambi, like as our speaker at some events. So from that, I feel interested in this kind of issues. Well, this kind of issues in the second sentences, they sign letters without fully knowing what is written in the letters. So the indigenous people don't know how to read, so the the people which is not from their community try to try to give them like how to say mengiming-imingkan. Anyone would help me? Like give them like a big things like yeah something like that. So which can be irresponsible to outsider to get their signature on important document like land transaction. So here indigenous people have their own land which called hutan adat. So it actually cannot be transactions things, but because of this kind of people like irresponsible outsiders who take responsibility of the way that they don't know how to read. Please, Miss Ekalita.
What I was say, that power without empathy is like that, right? So they have to, with their power, they have to protect these people, right? Because these people have no interest or threatened by anything. They don't have economic interest, only just for them and their family, right? Their society. So I think, yeah, government have to be strict with the people that want to ruin their life. Is like you said that taking their adat land will be make them suffering, right? Because adat land is can facilitate their their simple economic, right? And if you taking care, take away the adat lands, maybe you will be rich, maybe you will be wealth, but how the these people will be like? Can you can you find the money from other ways? Have you get the money to with, I mean that we need the money. I also need the money, but you also have I said like social empathy, right? It's not it's not the it's not the time that where you seek the money from the people suffering, something like that. It's like against your human heart, humankind, something like that. And they didn't asking much, they didn't asking much, like some of you that maybe afraid if you don't get to the representative because you don't have much capital, right? Although when you going there you will be the monster, but you still want the kind of job. um they didn't like that. They just only want to close with the nature. Maybe they didn't like us that feel afraid to fulfill our token life. They are didn't need the PLN, something like that. They just need their forest, their simple life, their simple education. Maybe when they are coming, I mean they're like knowing the education, maybe they will be learned, but maybe it's not like us going to public school. It's not like that. Maybe they will be have deeply apa sih kalau mendalami itu apa sih, like ya mendalami minat mereka juga gitu, like wave, like maybe something that, yeah, something like that. They are learning, but it's not like us. Maybe they have a different objects, different achievement, different aims, but you still have to respect them. Don't all of in this world you change them with the money. It's not like that. You also have a like social responsibility in yourself. Don't rely it to the power or something dirty that will change you with the monster. What is the use of the power of yours if you cannot use for the goodness? In my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita. So as I mentioned before, that each issues have a connected things because they are connected each other. But Mr. Harris, please. What's your opinion?
Thank you. When I read traditional land right, I don't know why, I just remembered the sad thing is about the indigenous people is that because they don't have any like educational background, so it's easy for them to get exploited. Like for example, people could say like some greedy corporations or some greedy people, they could claim like, oh yeah, I bought this land, but originally that land is theirs. So
Okay.
the sad thing is they could get easily exploited. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Miss Brother Harvest. Well, actually, for some people who isn't really familiar with the word traditional lands, actually, there is a law about this kind of things, traditional lands. But I mean, I'm not really good in understanding the law about this traditional lands, like hutan adat. It's there is an actual like yeah amendments like or something. Mr. Demos, I place you.
All right. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I think it's funny that the discussion is going well, back and forth, talking about the power and money and how people are so eager to talk about which one is more important, power or money, or whatever they actually want to talk about. So let me bring up the discussion back to the topic that you're asking. Let's talk about the traditional land right. I think it's very, um, uh, I think the indigenous people at the heart of the issue. I think they are really vulnerable as the who's the keto again that talk about the greedy corporation because I couldn't read his name. Anyway, talking about this topic though, this subtopic, I think yeah, they are very vulnerable of getting these systemic injustices and also these deceptive practices. Like they are talk or they are forced to sign up something that they don't even know about because there are some factors leading to this issue because they are like they're lacking of representative of these modern people that wants to basically support their lives, and also we are also lacking of these specific agency to support their legal resources, and also the support of legal terms for them, and also the how they can actually understand the difference between the world and governmental systemic bureaucracy between these indigenous people that are actually under the supervision of our own politics or this governmental bureaucracy. So for me, there are probably two solutions for this. First, that we are basically creating the agency that can be their own representation of those indigenous people here in Indonesia to support whatever the needs. When it comes to like the policy making that comes from the government, this agency must be representing these indigenous people. Second, we can use the crowdsourced justice that people are currently doing so far by all every single crimes that we have, like how people are brought up, are bringing up, the issues in social media about these certain topics, so that if we open up the eyes of the people or the society about these indigenous problems and making the source justice as the second or primary source of the crime other than the traditional policing, I think we can actually develop this system to support the land rights of the indigenous people. So for me personally, talking about traditional land right and how these deceptive practices can be triggered by government or any other entities to this indigenous people, we the society have to come together, have the discourse talking about those two solutions. For me personally, if other people have better solution, please come up again. I'm ready to buy the bullets, but that's coming from me, Ms. Ezzy, so that we can come
Yeah,
to
thank you.
right away. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramos, for your perspective, for your opinion about this. For the solution that you give, yeah, luckily we already have the organization like NGO that who spoke about these issues, like indigenous people issues. Like as I mentioned before, Pundi Sumatra is the biggest from the others who's voice out about this kind of issues. And for the solution, it's a go-to. And I will take some solution from you guys to deliver to the NGO or community who who take a focus on this issues, this indigenous people. Well, Mr. I'm sorry. I mean, like, ada
Mr.
mean
C, Mr. C,
sorry, how Cikoneng, okay, Mr. Cikoneng, please.
Mr. C.
C,
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
it's a cute name.
All right. Yeah, this is my land right.
Okay,
Am I audible, Miss?
yes, you are.
Okay. When we talk about the land right and also indigenous people, we should back to the what does indigenous people means. If we take it particularly in every region, so indigenous people will come every single religion in certain region. But back to the term of indigenous people, when it's come to the new Orba, it is from between the China and also Indonesian people. We take it the definition of indigenous people nationally, because in globalization era, we not only compete with the foreign people, but we compete also with artificial intelligence. So in this situation, Indonesia as indigenous people should come up with the complete capabilities to face the world. And when we look at how the illiterate indigenous people in Suku Anak Dalam here, so we back to the data published by PISA in 2022. The data show up how Indonesia in the rank Indonesia in the rank 18 from the under of the ranking with the score 359. And for how to say rata-rata, I forgot. Sorry.
Average.
Oh yeah. And for the word average in the number 1476. So in Southeast Asia, we are under Singapore, Vietnam, Brunei, Malaysia, and Thailand. In this situation, how we came up with the solution to be more educated people. And back to the data show from English first, how Indonesia master in English. We are in the level of 70, we are in the rank of 79 from 113. So we are under 500 score if we look back at the TOEFL score. Singapore in the second position, Philippines, Malaysia, and also Vietnam. In this situation, we come to the conclusion that education is not our priority program as the government issues. And back to our societies, how our societies want to instant solution. Let's take it how social assistance, do you know, in Indonesia means bansos. Our social our societies need it and like it, but because there are a lot of the middle low income population in Indonesia, and also we need the basic needs like freelance program or free meal, whatever is it. So why education is a priority? Because our social needs need to be improved. How we get education when we don't have the basic need for our lives? So for solution in this situation, we should back to how the issues come from universities, that the expensive tuition fee universities, they come up in education sector. In this situation, the collaboration between universities and Indonesia urgently need. Why? Because in this situation, how many graduated from university haven't get job properly? And we look at the data coming from the Compass, so that how 25% of graduated university haven't job properly because our formal job
were decreased than the previous years. So the collaboration between universities and industry need to improve. So for nowadays, the student of university get opportunity to be of job in or Indonesian magang in every single industries they need, and also they have the chance to be imported to the other university, perhaps in the overseas university with the Merdeka Belajar program also. And the second is infrastructure to be improved. Thanks to Mr. Jokowi that improve our infrastructure to maintaining Indonesia. But in every disadvantage that only focusing in Java, perhaps the next government will do much more to the other region, and also the technology connectivity. For nowadays, we look at how the government contact deal with the Elon Musk that will be Starlink come from the Indonesia, how technology is needed. Because when we talk about the global issues, how every single countries focus on technology revolution, but we still focus on industry revolution. In the situation we are underdeveloped in the other country. Let's talk about China and also America. They focus about like iPhone, Huawei, and so on. But in this situation, we still struggle with our job opportunities. So in this situation, we should link every single what we need, like collaboration, university and industry, technology, connectivity, and also infrastructure. For this situation, when our societies are fulfill enough in our needs, so the education, whatever they take, they will come up as the people, indigenous people in Indonesia to ready face the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cikoneng. Sorry. Yeah, it's a great opinion. I thank you too for the information that you gave to us. It's a lot of information, right? So it's never ending discussion if we compare our country to others, because our country is we hope our country is getting better like other countries, right? Like back to the topic of suku anak dalam or indigenous tribe, indigenous people, everything we do, is it for we ourselves, or if it's for the things the thing that we do, we have to be concerned to the impact to the others, especially to the environment, and especially that we talk about right now is indigenous people. Well, we have, I guess two topics, two issues left, so we move to another topic. Sorry. Yeah, there it is. Sorry. Another issue is this is the statement, this is the real, I mean, like the other is a real issues, but here is I have a statement, then the questions following it. Indigenous people must choose to embrace their religion that is recognized in Indonesia as a regulation to have an ID card or a birth certificate. However, this can also be harmful because they are forced to leave the beliefs of their ancestor that they have been committed to for generations, which is also part of their culture. So when they choose one of the religion, which is already recognized in Indonesia, there are 6, right? They have to leave their beliefs, which is animism, that already gave by already regeneration by the ancestor. So the question is the concept such as discrimination against indigenous people or not? Well, we have Miss Ekalita, please here.
First of all, we have to refer to 29 article of Undang-Undang Dasar 45, and then we also believe that God can never force his belief to the mankind, right? We have to have the same perception first, because you can recognize them to the religion, but you cannot forcing them to live their beliefs, because it will be like against the humankind law, something like that. And also in 29 article Undang-Undang Dasar 45, and also I refer to Islam because Islam can be objective and can solve many problems to mediate a complex problem, right? And the God never force his belief to the mankind. So we as a humankind also have to have same, what do you call, like same apa sih kayak same perception as well, because if you cannot respect the boundaries, you will be making some disputes and harmful to the people. Beliefs is very personal. It's from the heart, from your soul. You cannot be forcing by anyone. Maybe you can like them, they are living in animism society, right? Yeah, the government can recognize the religion for them, of course, because when they pick the religion, they will be have a progressive life, right? Their mindset will change, everything will change. But although there is a lot of benefits that they will get when they choose the religion, but you cannot forcing them, because it will harm them, right? They cannot find the essence of the religion itself if you are forcing them. It's like they cannot love the religion, they cannot recognize the God, because you are forcing them. But when they can find it with their soul, their heart, and you respect them, you give them the space, they will recognize the God with the way they choose. Yeah, something like that. So I didn't find any confront with Islamic and 29 article Undang-Undang Dasar 45, but I didn't accept the principle from the Christian that all humankind have to be Christian. It's it's against the human nature and human rights. Yeah. So if that concept such a discrimination against indigenous people, what is mean? What discrimination?
Sorry, Miss Ekalita.
Is that concept such a discrimination against indigenous people? What is question meaning?
Like, do you think that kind of the way government ask them, like as the regulation, like they have to embrace one of religion that is in Indonesia, like 6 religion that we have, so they none of them. So is
Oh,
it, do you think?
okay. I understand. Okay. Yeah, I think being Islam, Christian, Buddhist, Hindus, or Catholic, or atheist, or animism is their right. You cannot forcing your belief. You cannot forcing them to be like picking some of religion, but there is some misconception because in old days, I feel that everyone have to choose the religion, right? But after that, I rethinking about again. I believe that you cannot forcing the belief of them. Yeah. So yeah, they can stick to their animism if they didn't. If you have you already recognize the religion, but they still didn't believe and they didn't want to change, it's their right. Yeah, you cannot. There is nothing you can do to change them. Yeah, it's their choices. You just have to respect them and protect them and facilitating them as well as like others. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita. Well, here we also have Mr. Risky. Maybe you want to give your opinion about this, and also maybe we can add one religion which can say animism or something. So, what's your opinion?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Aziz. I think right now the status quo about this actually have been different. In Indonesia have acknowledged as six religion: Islam, Protestant, Hindu, Buddha, Konghucu, and also Catholic, right? So both of that six religion actually consider we can add our ID card or birth certificate based on our religion that have been acknowledged by Indonesia, but it is happened until 2017. In 2017 there is a presidential decree, if I'm not mistaken, number 1696 years 2018, that regulate about this, where people that outside of the religion, like outside of that sixth religion, might have their right to have an ID card or birth certificate that is written as kepercayaan terhadap Tuhan Yang Maha Esa. So they have their right to choose their own religion actually. So if they have like animism, dynamism, or even like their belief as the indigenous their religion in their area, they might use that identity, but we cannot specifically write their religion, but it can be written as kepercayaan terhadap Tuhan Yang Maha Esa. So actually it is a development of right for indigenous people, because before that they must be forced to choose whether from that six religion. For example, for example, there is our friend, his name is Saul, and he has religion we call Kamaya. Kamaya is like one of the indigenous religion in Aceh. So Kamaya religion or Kamaya follower do not have do not have right to choose their own religion. Actually, it is quite different from other six acknowledgement of the religion. So they forced to choose whether is it, and particularly they should choose Islam. For example, in our case in Aceh, they must be choosing like Islam, because we are here is the majority in Aceh. So
Yeah.
actually, it is until 2017, but right now it has been developed. We hope that this kind of right for them could be improved as well. So the next decade they might can write their own religion that can be acknowledged with the principle of Pancasila, because every religion should be aligned with Pancasila, right? So if we're talking, is that concept such a discrimination? I think status quo is different right now, so they have they have a right for that. But actually, when they forcing to move from their religion, I think there is a discrimination, because Pancasila talking about the equality of right. So when we force them, there is no equality right there, right? So the most important is to always having the ideology of Pancasila as our role or our ways. So for example, to determine where the religion that could be acknowledged, but at the same time, we should always to take care all Indonesian citizens, regardless of their race, regardless of their religion, and regardless of how they're living. Actually, as long as they do not disgrace or they do not harm the other of Indonesian citizen. Maybe that's my opinion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Risky. Thank you for the information. So I just know that the 2017, right? That is it?
Yeah, there's a presidential decree
Thank you so
already regulate in Mahkamah
much.
Konstitusi.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information. So I'm quite an update about that. Sorry. Well, it's such a good information for us. So there's a statement. Let's say it's not really relatable right now because it's the regulation is already changed. As Mr. Rizky said before in 2017. Well, we also have here Mr. Fabri. I please here.
All right, cool. So what should I say then? Okay,
Sorry. I already make it a conclusion for it. Yeah, because yeah, as far as I know that this kind of regulation is still relate because yeah, that's what we're facing right now. But Mr. Rizky has already make it clear that that regulation is already changed in 2019. Would you
all
give a
right, cool.
opinion?
All right, cool then. I don't know why Indonesia really likes to have a lot of cards, healthy cards, education cards, ID cards,
Yeah.
cards, right? Well, basically, let's say that in Australia, they have also like Aborigine as an indigenous people. The indigenous people here uh, are not having ID card or national ID card. They have their own card, stated that oh this indigenous people is basically living in this place. This indigenous people is basically living in that place. I think it can be also adapted by Indonesia if they want to have this kind of card, right? to state that they are Indonesian, they are part of Indonesian. Just make the ID card special for indigenous people and Jambi, for example, indigenous people and Borneo Island. Just that if the problem is about the identity or the birth certificate, but more than that, I think it's I really like, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mr. Risky or whoever, I forgot. I really like about the concept of education that he uh, proposed. Well, basically, his name is, yes, my name is Joseph Fabri. Basically, when it comes to the indigenous people, the approach of giving the education is not bringing up our knowledge. Well, basically, our knowledge is like Western Western concept, Western centered. We tend to adopt like Western knowledge, things like that. In why don't we think of like having a local centered knowledge, local centered education, like let's say that in Australia, they learned how to divide the weather not based on like what like the Western knows, like autumn, like there are four weathers, right? Autumn, springs, summers, and also winters. But they have their own weather forecast. Like they have like in the middle of, oh, it is late autumn, it's late things, but they have their own terminology for the weather. So that's why like they really know that when they will come to they will hunt and they will go back to their home, things like that. I think that's what we need to do when it comes to the indigenous people especially. And what I want to say again is basically indigenous people is indigenous people is basically the example of how sustainable living is. So maybe like the way we look at them seems like, oh, they are uneducated, they are not really engaged to the modern things. Well, basically, we do look up them. yeah, we need to look at them, that the way they live is basically use the environment, the natural resources without compromising the future. They know their limit. That's basically. However, like the problem is basically like the problem is when it the problem is us as well. I believe that as a customers, as a consumer, like our behavior also contribute how the practice of industrial things. So we need to we need to remember as well that. I think that's all, Miss Ali. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fabi, for your perspective and your opinion, and also the information that's because we don't have any. I mean, like we know we can informations, but you live in so right now, right? The Aussie right now. Is the information that I can got from the comment column. So thank you for the things, the solution. Maybe you get like something kind of like a special card, ID card in Australia, which is maybe can be implied in Indonesia. Yes, that's right. As you mentioned that our behavior towards nature can impact everything around us. So be wise. Well, we go to the last topic. The last topic, I guess, is the last topic. But no, the last issue, sorry. So this is the government PLV. So how do we think about this? The housing, so indigenous people, especially Suku Anak Dalam and Jambi, the government give a housing program, so that they give a house, like it's not it's just a how to say, like a small house, but it's enough for one for a family. The housing for indigenous people is a solution for them to adapt and survive into a modern society in the middle of forest crisis. However, this project is not just right given to indigenous people, because indigenous people live, as I said before, nomadic, which is they used to live with the forest, living nomadic ways. Do you think the housing program is the best solution or any other solution? Because as we know, we also facing that forest crisis, but who really get a bad impact of forest crisis is the indigenous people. So, Miss Ekalita, please you.
I think government not facilitating them, but facilitating themselves with their project with the developer. Yeah, as we know that they didn't asking for the housing programs. It's like a launch programs. Nobody asking that programs. They asking to improve government, improve their economics and give them space for their needs and facilitating society with their needs, not for business always and project always. If your power is like give a lot of money, maybe you have to go another planets that and maybe there is no one will take it about give a damn with you what you want to ruin the planet or not. But in here in the earth we need the real life. So please, I know we need money, right? But don't everything change with the money. And if you want getting the power, you want the power or the money, you have to choose. If you want to power, if you want to the power, then you have to use it with responsibility. So taking care of your society with your moral responsibility. And if you have a business and having a moral responsibility. Don't change everything become money, because it will be cause a problem. It's not their needs, it's yours. That's the problem. It's your needs, it's not them. So you didn't facilitating them, and you will creating a conflict among them, right? Because they didn't need the housing programs, they didn't need to forcing to, yeah, you have obligation to recognize them to the belief, but it's not your job to forcing them to choose their freedom that God give to them. So I think when you fulfill your job, please recognize others' needs, building your social empathy, something like that. And if everything is about a business, then you will be create something bigger problem, because you are facilitating your own needs, not others. That's the problem.
Oh, thank you, Miss Ekalita. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Miss Ekalita. Yeah, as you mentioned that that's not suitable for the indigenous peoples, because the you think that government didn't see their perspective, didn't see their what they need and what should the government give. Well, we also have Mr. Rizky here. Please you.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, maybe I have different argument or idea about this, because actually the housing program is a quite nice idea, because it also implemented by several countries such as Canada. There is a Canada housing program that for the indigenous in Canada, also Australian, American, also having the solution for the housing program. But the challenge is that these indigenous people have cultural sensitivity on how they usually living in their own land, right? Whether they are used to be like around the nature, around the forest and something. So when they being moved like this, there's a housing program. Actually, is quite a good alternative, but it's never be enough if only like a housing program without any adaptability situation like what they have been faced in the forest. For example, if they used to be like living with the forest around them, so when we creating the program like housing program, we should always empath with that situation where around the housing should be like there is a similarity with the condition before. So because talking about adaptability, especially for indigenous, is not easy. It need a process, step by step. They cannot live like significantly change of their environment. For example, they used to be see a lot of tree, and then when they replace to the city, of course they will be shocked. There is no tree and so on and so forth. But so in order to make sure and to tackle the problem of the cultural sensitivity is to giving a learning adaptability on how it should be like step by step, starting from housing that near with the tree, and then it will be increased again. And the most important is also indigenous people need to have an actor that they believe. Actually, we need to have an approach. For example, for the government, there is approachable action for the indigenous on how they trust this government. So if they trust, they will be comfortable to do the program. So I think rather than other alternative solution, maybe there is from other of our friend here, but I prefer to optimize or to maximize the program of housing program itself. Maybe that is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rizky. So we have two different perspectives here, but all is good because the one is who try to understand the indigenous people, the other is also trying to understand the need of indigenous people. But I would like to give you some information of the fact in Jambi. I mean, like the fact in Jambi, in Sekurang Dalam Jam, especially in Jambi, is they already have that housing program, but they live like 2 or 3 months before they live in that house. They leave the house because they're not used to with that kind of lifestyle, right? But it's suitable to Miss Ekalita's perspective, but it's also relatable to Mr. Rizky. I think why they are leaving the house is because they don't have something like accompaniment, yeah, like pendampingan. So they're not used to with the way they live at that time. Oh, I saw a lot of people here who would like to give their opinions, but I'm gonna pick one of you because we have limit time. It's already like 10 o'clock. No, even yeah, 10:17. Well, I saw Mr. Henny for the first who raised her hand. I please you. But if
Okay,
you
thank you. Thank you, Miss, for choosing me. Okay. I am in, I'm not contra to this program, but I'm in pro side to this program. I guess that this is a good step for the government to do this stuff, because if they wanna introduce about modern lifestyle to their society, why not? Yeah, but we have to make sure, because it's not easy for them to adapt or to survive in that condition, to make this dream come true. Yeah, why not if we meet between the government and the tribal chief? Yeah, they have to see face to face and sit together, discuss about this, if the program need to be run well. But as you said that in your previous slide, because they are nomadic people, it's not easy for them to stay in the house, yeah, or stay in a house, because they love adventures. Yeah, they have what is it? They love, yeah, living in the jungle, in the forest. But yeah, as a government, we need to promote, and we need to, what is that? To learn. Yeah, if we want to make them to be a modern society, yeah, that's good. That's a good program. Yeah, but yeah, why not they have to talk first, socialize first, yeah, about the housing program, about the house. They have to live in a house where they, if they live like in a jungle, as we know that uh maybe the government want to make them, yeah, live like a people, yeah, like a people as well. Yeah, to make a hygiene, yeah, hygiene condition, or everything else. Yeah, that's a good step, I guess. I'm in pro side with this program, and I support. Yeah, thank you.
okay, thank you so much, Miss Hani, for your role about the statement about this program. Well, um, that's this is the last issues that I gave, I guess. Is there any issues? Okay, that's last issues. Well, from all the things that you gave, your opinion, your perspective, your solution, your everything that you gave, I hope it can change people perspective from negative stereotypes to a good one, because as we know that we actually the same as them, as indigenous people, especially here I take in case of suku anak dalam in Jambi, Sumatera. So but we have different way to live, so doesn't mean they have no right to get a better what lead better life, sorry. Well, because indigenous people connected to the environment, the natural world. So I can also bring the way we treat nature. Is it bad or good? It will impact to ourselves and to other people's, because the consequences we will face that, because as we can see that we are facing a climate crisis, and indigenous people become the solution, become who make it calm down. Is it calm down? Yeah, who make it not really fast change, not, yeah, something like that. I think that's all from me. I hope this discussion and this kind of topic can be useful for us. Is it from perspective or other things? And that's all from me. I give to Mr. Fu. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, okay, that's good. Thanks, Simon, so much. It's a very fruitful and insightful discussion. At least talking about indigenous people to raise our awareness how uh, indigenous people can preserve their cultural norms, traditions in order to adapt with modern era, because we can't avoid the, the change about what we have been discussing. What have been discussed. Okay, thank you very much. Let me give how to say this one. Okay, last time someone said wender. What does it mean to wender? Wender means mengembara or merantau. And then how to say ancestor? Ancestor means leluhur. And how to say undang-undang? We can say enactment or law. And then do not forget, if we use modal auxiliary, must be followed by pair infinitive. What does it mean of pair infinitive? Infinitive. This one. Or simple form of one. For example, can speak, not can speaking. Can talk, can push. Yeah, so that don't use directly using this one. Can speaking? No, it can't. Gak bisa ya. So you have to be careful in order to practice in this one. Why we have to obey the rules in grammar? Yeah, that's better. If you can control by way of speaking, at least we can get improvement if we keep practicing while controlling our grammar. That's good what I can share today. Later I will share this one. So I will give this appreciation to the moderator first to take a picture. Ms. Aziz, can you smile?
No,
I will take a picture to this appreciation. Go on. 1, 2, 3, go. Why do you close it?
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Okay.
People hear us so.
Okay, we are going to take a picture, everyone. You may open your your video, please. Mr. Suni, Haras, my lord, Mr. Demus, Mr. Febri, Ms. Eka, Haras. Okay. Mas Febri, what time is it in
Look at that
Australia?
Australian guy.
We have special guest. Hello, Mr. Cesar. Long time no see you. Where are you now?
Mr.
I'm in Lampung.
Oh, you are in Lampung.
Oh,
Mr.
which part of
Suni,
Lampung?
can you show your handsome face? Mr. Suni, hello. Miss Eka.
Miss Eko would
There
never.
is no picture, sir.
Okay, wow. Finally, the good guy is opening.
Oh, Shanshan is in outside of the world.
Okay, yeah, we are going to take a picture. 1, 2, 3, go with your style. Good. All right, nice. Once more, because the election is done. It's okay. You want to use finger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's okay. It doesn't represent that you support. Once more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Give up. All right. Thank you very much for your coming, everyone. Hope so much
Thank
we are
you.
Thank you so much.
continuing the next weekly discussion. When I say OTA community, don't forget to say yesterday, you say tomorrow. OTA community.
Thursday,
Yesterday,
same
see you again, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Go.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see.